It came as no surprise that he was already expanding his occupation in this particular situation. This was one of the potential outcomes. The Golan Heights have been under Israeli occupation for years and cannot be considered their own territory in accordance with international agreements. Hence, when discussing the Golan, we consistently refer to it as the Golan under Israeli occupation. Their intentions go beyond expanding their control over the hills towards the east and creating more space for attacks on Lebanon and Damascus in Syria. They also possess long-term plans for establishing corridors that would stretch from Iraq through Syria, ultimately cutting through Israeli territory. These plans are ambitious and far-reaching. The Mediterranean will be open. The plan they dreamed of as the David Corridor is on the one hand, and this occupation movement is still expanding. Let me add a last sentence here. It was one of the most confusing points. Israel destroyed very important points that until yesterday, even the opposition, even those marching towards Damascus, did not know where and what they were. Military facilities, important ammunition depots, and when asked how they knew, it turned out to be the Assad regime, because they were the only ones who could have known Israel didn't strike when they had it. Either they knew and didn't strike, or Assad gave it to them and they left over there. These forces were not allowed to keep Syria's own property. Will Israel stop? Time has already shown us that it will not stop, but Israel is not going to stop Syria's Mediterranean coast. It launched a powerful attack once more, purely relentless. I mean, where exactly? Tartus and Latakia underwent intense bombardment. Until recently, who occupied those regions? The Russians. They withdrew a key resource. In fact, while some of them departed, they also evacuated Assad from the Kumaim air base. Like I mentioned earlier, the massive assault triggered a magnitude 3 earthquake.
First, Israel decided to expand illegal settlements in the occupied Golan Heights. Then it launched an unprecedented bombardment of Syria. The attacks targeted Latakia and Tartusil on the Mediterranean coast. Warplanes hit military headquarters and missile depots. The explosions were so massive that they created a mushroom of flames. It even caused a magnitude 3 earthquake. Speaking hours before the attack, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu tried to justify the heavy bombardment of Syria.
For decades, Syria has consistently remained a hostile state towards Israel. This has manifested through repeated attacks on our nation, as well as the facilitation of Iranian weapon shipments to Hezbollah via Syrian territory. In response, we have recently implemented strong measures to prevent any recurrence of these actions. I have personally instructed our army to effectively neutralize potential threats originating from Syria.
Israel is currently carrying out attacks while simultaneously expanding its settlements in Syrian territory. It has recently announced its intention to double the number of illegal Jewish settlements in the Golan Heights, an area under occupation. Several Arab countries, including the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, and Iraq, have strongly condemned this Israeli plan. The leader of the Syrian opposition, Mohammed Jolani, spoke for the first time about Israel's actions. He said that Israel's attacks crossed a red line and were not justified. On the contrary, he said they risked escalating military escalation in the region, while Jolani emphasized that they do not want to be drawn into conflicts that could lead to further destruction. The Netanyahu administration continues to take steps in the opposite direction. Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz stated that the country's defense budget should be increased. Katz said that recent developments in Syria are increasing the intensity of the threat, despite the efforts of opposition leaders to appear moderate.